Hello YouTube, another watch review video today, but this one a little different. Rather than a time-based review of a new arrival, this is a long-term review of the TAG Heuer Formula 1 Grand Date Lume Dial. Now, I've owned this watch for just over 5 years, and it was on my wrist for the majority of the first 4 of those years. These days though, it doesn't get a lot of wrist time. My collection has expanded considerably over the last year. This one's slipped down the pecking order a little bit, so it's actually for sale at the moment. I'm flipping this one. So this is something of a goodbye review as well as a long-term summary about my thoughts and feelings about the watch. So is it a fond farewell or is it good riddance? Let's see, shall we? So very well packaged tag. You do really feel like you're buying something a little bit special. This is one of several boxes the watch came with originally, including a very nice little brochure, guarantees, so on, paperwork in there. This is a 44mm case model on the Grand Date, 48mm if you include that considerable crown, so it is a chunky watch. This is one of the largest pieces I own, in fact the largest single piece that I own. 13mm thick, which is slightly unnecessary because of course this is a quartz movement. This is powered by the Swiss Ronda 6004B in this model. Now, TAG has been making Formula 1 since 1986, when it began its association with Formula 1 the sport. This is the kind of fourth generation. 4.5, I think, is technically what this one, the Grand Date model, is designated as. 22mm lug width, tapering down to 20mm at the bracelet. Now, the lugs themselves are worthy of note. TAG calls them hidden lugs, and you can see why. You don't actually see the operation of the lug, you don't see the pins either. Quite neat in operation, but they do, maybe you can see a little bit there, there's a little bit of a line on the strap. They do tend to damage the straps a little bit. They leave a little pinch mark on those. I found that with all the straps this has been fitted with. This is not the original strap. I think this is strap number 4 over the course of 5 years. The original strap lasted just under 2 years. I replaced it with a substitute and then a third strap and then finally this one. This is a Hirsch natural pure rubber. I really like Hirsch straps and I think this is great. The kind of dark rubber, the matte finish really helps bring down the tone of the watch a little bit. Now, when I got this watch, it was a little bit gauche. It was a little bit in your face. It is the base model, and base models quite often tend to shout the loudest. TAG Heuer Formula 1, TAG Heuer there. TAG Heuer on the side. Now this used to be black, but I managed to work that out, so it's a little more discreet than it used to be. TAG Heuer on the tang buckle, which is quite nice, but they've also said TAG Heuer on the bracelet clasp. TAG Heuer down one side there, and TAG Heuer down there. Really a little bit nasty considering how much branding there was on this base model. But the change of strap got rid of 3 of those tags, and as I said, I managed to reduce that a little bit, reduce the impact of it. It's a much more discreet watch than it used to be, just in case you forgot that you in fact owned a tag, or more probably so that the next person sitting next to you would notice that you were wearing a tag. I guess that's what that's for. Now, screw down crown, pretty effective operation there. 200-meter water resistance in this one. Never had any difficulties with it in water. There we are, pretty easy to adjust. It's got a quick adjust on the date. There we are, quick adjust on the date setting on that one. So what is this watch? 120 click unidirectional bezel. Now, to be honest, the bezel action, a little bit ratchety, a little bit notchety, quite loud as you can hear, and a little bit of play on there as well. But it's not really a diver's watch, not certified as a diver, but it's not really a sports watch, kind of sports diver, somewhere in between. I had this on a leather strap briefly, really didn't suit the watch. Those lugs sit very flat and it kind of flopped around on my wrist. I know there's an argument for not putting diver watches on leather at all. So how much does this one weigh? Let's pop it on the scales briefly here. Reset that. Now this has got the rubber strap on it. Rubber strap's always lighter than a bracelet. So 117 grams. I think there's about 100 grams in the body of the watch, and the rest of it's the strap and tang buckle. So I've really enjoyed this watch. I sound a little bit negative. I don't mean to sound negative. I really enjoyed wearing it. It was always a little bit too big for me though. I've got a 7-inch wrist and I always felt that 44mm was just a little bit too large. I mean, I think I can get away with it, but it always tends to catch on my backpack, catch on jackets. Just it's a little bit large and chunky. It doesn't slip under the cuff, as they say, as some more discreet watches do. But a lot of wrist presence there. Really like the kind of monochromatic black and white effect. And as I said, I think that strap really suits the watch as well. Sapphire crystal, flat sapphire crystal. Really doesn't pick up too many smudges, this one. I like that. A lot of the dome crystals watches that I've got, they tend to pick up smudges much more easily than this one. Now, it is battery powered. I've only had to replace the battery once, and that was about 3 years ago. So pretty good going there, and obviously super accurate. Now, this is the lume dial model. I can't show you the lume here, but I will pop up a lume shot. Simply outrageous level of lume in that case. Fantastic. I didn't realize it was the lume dial until I got out of the shop, so I got a bit of a shock when I first switched off the lights wearing this one, but really enjoyed that lume dial. It's something that I would be looking to maybe add back into my collection at another stage in the future. Now, TAG gets a hard time on a lot of the watch forums. It's not particularly, well, is it disrespected? People feel that you don't get a lot of watch for your money with tags. They're charging a premium price, but you're not really getting a premium product. This one, when I bought it 5 years ago, the RRP was well over $1,000 Australian for a quartz watch. So you can see you get a lot more money with a Seiko automatic, or if you want a more sporty Swiss watch, then there are a number of models from Tissot that would probably offer far more for your money than the TAG does. Also, they've got a kind of aggressive advertising, aggressive branding campaign. A lot of the TAG ambassadors, not really everyone's cup of tea. Personally, I couldn't care less if Chris Hemsworth was endorsing this watch, or that lady with the lion tattooed on her knuckle. I mean, what is going on there? However, they do have Steve McQueen and Ayrton Senna spruiking from beyond the grave, which makes up a lot of their dubious advertising for me anyway. Big Formula One fan. Obviously, it's a Tag Heuer Formula One. They've had a 30-year association with the sport, so I was very much buying into that and didn't mind paying a little bit over the odds in terms of the watch. But a very robust piece. Can't doubt its longevity and its quality. And to be honest, it looks like I'm going to get back a lot of the money that I paid for it. So not a bad investment from that perspective. So should you buy one of these? Well, the TAG Formula One is a nice entry-level piece if you want to get a bit of the TAG Heuer branding on your wrist, a brand that offers a long history and heritage, and as I say, a long connection with Formula One as well. You are paying a little over the odds for a quartz piece. You'd get your more for your money elsewhere with a Seiko or a Tissot. But as I said, I've enjoyed this watch. It did exactly what I wanted to as an everyday wear, and I've got no problem with quartz for an everyday wear, and I hope that this is passed on soon to a new owner who enjoys it as much as I did over the next 5 years.